and it's really great to be here. I'm really thrilled that you invited me to be part of this. And, you know, as others have said before me, Lisa and I are both directors of DAMA UK, and we were asked to review this framework as it was in development. And, you know, it was a fabulous opportunity to be able to create something useful that, you know, from just the examples that Lisa and Alison have shared, and I'm sure there are many hundreds more that you as the audience can think of, as to how we can use better, you know, the data that we have. And that's going to, you know, should lead to better outcomes for society. But I think, you know, you also have the, you know, the downside of that. And that was what I love the quotes that you were sharing, Alison, you know, about the fact that, you know, services were failing because of poor data quality. And I think that's just a fact of life. But I think we've got this opportunity to change it now. Everybody seems to be embracing, you know, digital transformation. People are really understanding now that data is an asset. But what we've got to do is help them manage it as an asset. And I think that this is why this framework is so excellent, because most people don't even think that what they do is data. I mean, maybe the ONS, they understand that they analyze data, but most people don't think that they have data. Their job is to run whichever government department they are, or which local authority or NHS or whatever public service. They don't think their job is data, but yet data is critical to all of that. And until we manage our data like an asset, like we would our buildings or any other asset we have, we're not going to really get the true value out of it, and we will have these failings again and again. But we have this amazing resource available to us in both the data that you've got available to you, plus now you've got this framework, so we can start to manage it better and get much better value out of it. Now, I was really, I'm a data geek, so I was really excited when I read this data quality framework, because it is so well structured. I love the way that there's case studies through it, and it's really, really accessible. You don't have to be a data quality consultant or expert to read it. It is in plain English and has loads of examples to really help you work out what it's going to mean for your department or organization. So, you know, it was really, really, you know, with my data geek hat on, it was really great to read. And, you know, I think it's so valuable because I've worked with so many organizations who want to start doing data quality and improve their data quality for all the kind of reasons that we've been discussing on this call, but they don't know where to start. And they might dive in and do what they think is obvious, but the wrong thing. They might even cause a problem for somebody else because they've been changing data without thinking it through. So having such a structured framework is so valuable. But the framework itself is only one part of it. So I just want to kind of build a little bit on what Lisa was saying about the fact that, you know, the culture is absolutely vital. And I love the fact that that has been acknowledged with this framework. It's even in the title of it. You know, this isn't just a framework. This is everybody. We all need to start thinking about data, whatever your job is. We need to start thinking about data and our responsibilities towards it. Now, that's not easy. We're talking about, I wouldn't even like to guess, I didn't think to ask James in advance, but how many thousands of employees we're possibly talking about that we have to get them to think about data. But that's the one thing I really wanted to kind of share with you, is that I believe that this data governance, data quality framework is really, really valuable, but you mustn't think that it's something that just a handful of people in your organization are going to use. It's not just your data quality team, your equivalent of Lisa's team in your organization. This has got to be, everybody's got to be thinking about their impact on the data that they either create or capture, or the data that they use. And the only way we can do that is through communications. The culture doesn't just happen because we've launched the framework. The framework is a huge step forwards towards that. But we've now got to share that with everybody and make them understand what their role is in improving the data quality that we have, and therefore do these amazing things. You know, we've heard examples this afternoon of some amazing services that happened this year using data that, you know, nobody planned for that. They didn't have the luxury of months or years to plan how we were going to do these food parcels to the vulnerable, but it happened because people worked together and think what else we could do and work so much quicker if we had that data available to us and it was good enough quality. But we need everybody to buy in and think about this. And that's where we need to think about the link to data governance. And, you know, I smiled many times reading the framework, but I smiled right from the beginning because the very first principle in this document is commit to data quality. And I think in one of the very first bullets underneath that, it says, and you need to do that by embracing data governance as well. So this isn't a data governance framework, it's a data quality framework, and it gives you a really good structure for worrying about the quality of your data. But you need to consider, or I wouldn't even say consider, you need to put in a data governance framework at the same time. Because a data governance framework is going to give you the roles and responsibilities. Because what we don't want is everybody to say, wow, that sounds like a great idea, but it's somebody else's problem. James is going to sort it for us. Lisa's going to sort it for us. Alison's going to sort it for us. This is everybody's problem. Everybody has a part to play in this, some more than others. Yes, I will grant you that. But what we really need to do is to do a really clear data governance framework for each and every organization to support your data quality framework. You don't have to do the work designing a framework, that's been done for you. But what you do need to do is work out what your data governance framework should be. Because the one thing I do have to say is that whilst you can have a really well-structured standard data quality framework, such a thing as a data governance framework being standard doesn't work. Because across all your organizations, you've got different cultures, different setups, different structures, and the same data governance framework won't work for each. And I think that's why you'll find that the data quality framework mentions data governance framework, but it doesn't say, and this is how you do it, because there's going to be different ways that you may want to do it and embrace it. But what is important is that you do look at it, because this will give you the defined roles and responsibilities that will make your data quality framework implementable and sustainable. Because this isn't a project to adopt this, framework and then we'll go back to how we worked before. This is a new way of working so that we can do some really amazing things with data going forwards. This really is exciting times for data. And I think, COVID-19 has had a huge impact on us all. But in some ways, it's forced people to think more innovatively, and particularly about the way they use data. And wouldn't it be great if we could continue doing that, because our data was really great quality and we'd all changed our mindset and we all understood that data was part of our role and responsibility in doing that. So I think that was more or less what I wanted to say. I've probably talked too fast in my excitement, as I usually do. But it really, you've got a great opportunity facing you now, as I really would encourage you to adopt the data quality framework and make sure you put in place your roles and responsibilities in the form of a data governance framework to really support it. And so you really get some amazing benefits out of this. And I think that's me done.